What's up, everybody? Today, I'm going to talk about cycles of habit in regards to pornography and how to break them. How to break them. That is easier said than done. Easier said than done. Uh, Short answer, how to break the cycle, is you have to have a moment of clarity. Okay? A moment of clarity, an aha moment, a time when that brain fog that I think we all experience, it's kind of like a sunny day or maybe a ray of sunshine breaking through. And what you then do when you see that is you kind of go up through the sunlight. That's how I visualize it. Foggy day, bunch of clouds, and this little ray of sunshine. You stand there and you kind of you beam up like they did in Star Trek. You beam me up, Scotty, with the tractor beam. Now, that's a short answer, okay? It doesn't really say too much if you haven't done it yourself. The long answer is you have to create these moments of clarity. And you can. You can. It's not something that's necessarily organic, but you can create the opportunity for them to arise, okay? You can increase the chance for them to sprout. Now, let's first talk about what I'm just going to tell you my definition of what these moments of clarity are, what my definition is, so that so that we have a dialogue, so that we can really talk about it. Now, for me, I remember when I was in the thick of it watching porn, and I'd be this is what always typically happen when I would start to kind of go down the road of, okay, I'm not masturbating, then it's like, oh, I know I'm gonna masturbate. There's a little bit of lag time in between then. That's a high chance for moments of clarity, but it would typically happen when I would be edging, which, like, you know what edging is when you're delaying your orgasm on purpose to keep the sensation going. All right, keep the sensation going. Typically, I would be doing that for like an hour, hour and a half, and somewhere along there, and it wouldn't necessarily be when I was swapping from video to video. It'd be little things that would happen, little. I don't want to call them coincidences because I don't believe in coincidences. I know there are no coincidences. Little things that would happen. For instance, I would typically be on my phone. I'd load up a web page, and let's say I'm going to type in, Tumblr, something, hypno, whatever, and it wouldn't load. That would trigger my moment of clarity, and I think it triggered that would be a trigger for me because of where my mindset is, and the metaphysical background that I have and how I understand the world to work. For you, it may be different. It might be something else. It could be anything. What's important is that we realize that we all share these moments of clarity. So typically, I'll run you through one. I would be, I'd be looking at my phone, and either the page wouldn't load, or it would load incorrectly, or for whatever reason, my phone would just go back. Like sometimes this happens. Sometimes when I was watching videos, the phone would just go blank, like it was like I turned it off. And in those moments, that little voice in my head would be like, "Hey, you can stop right now. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. You can stop right now." And between me hearing that voice, there'd be another voice, and it usually would be like a millisecond or up to 5 seconds later. It'd be like, "Oh no, you're in too deep already now. You have to continue. If you don't, you're just gonna be really horny. You're gonna be thinking about it until you do come. So you might as well just do it now. Your fate is sealed." The important part is that you had that moment of clarity where you kind of were snapped out of the trance that you're in. Because when you watch porn, and especially when you're edging, you are in a sort of trance. You're in a sort of trance, because you would almost have to be to engage in the level of self-destruction that we engage in when we are looking at porn, and in particular with genres and topics that are inherently self-destructive. There's no merit to looking at porn that's telling you that you are less than, that you're weak, that you're a loser, that you have physical inadequacies, It's trying to confuse you sexually. That doesn't serve you. Um, and a little bit of a tangent. I don't. People make the argument. Well, whatever gets your rocks off, or as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay. And I agree with that. That as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay. But you count as somebody. All right, you count. And if you're hurting yourself, well, then you're hurting someone. Then it's not okay. And you got to realize that what you're doing is you're hurting yourself. But going back to the moments of clarity, when this happens, you have a choice, and you have to make a split decision. This choice to make. Okay, you stop, or you're going to continue. Now, I can't tell you how many times that I took the easy route. I was like, well, I'm just going to continue, and it would be the same rationale that I said earlier. I'm already doing it, I'm already in the mood, or I'm already, I got everything laid out that I need to have laid out, and there's no sense in stopping now, because I'm just going to be horny and frustrated later, and that's just going to confuse me and give me more brain fog. So I just got to kind of let the juices out, otherwise it's going to be backed up and I'm going to be agitated. That's what I would tell myself. And that all may be true, but that doesn't mean that you don't try to do it anyways. And this was the real key for me with breaking my habit and my cycles of porn use. Is these moments of clarity would come up, and I start to listen. I'm like, okay, well, let me stop. Let me walk away from this. And it was hard. And there were times where I would do it, and I'd stop for maybe 10, 20 minutes, and then I'd just go back later. And those, it was rough. It was rough. It's like kind of like a soft relapse. Not really. I think that's too short of a time lag to be considered a relapse. But you still have that conflict there. However, like anything, you have to start exercising it, and you're not going to get it right away. The point is that you listen, and the more that you listen to that voice, that thought, whether you consider it your own, or your conscious, your Jiminy Cricket, whatever, a pattern of behavior that you've engaged in. The point is that you're following it, because that's very important, and that's how I got out. And then it became more frequent. Then it wouldn't necessarily happen while I was looking at porn. It would happen beforehand. Okay, hey, Henry, is this the right thing to do? Should you stop what you're doing? Well, maybe. If I do, then I'm gonna feel shitty about myself later. I'm not gonna have as much energy. I'm not gonna have any drive or want to engage in my girlfriend or partner in any sort of sexual manner, and I'm gonna feel like a fraud. So I started to think about these things more and more frequently prior to engaging in the porn watching habits that I had. Now, how does that tie in to you? Well, it's kind of hard to say, because again, the triggers, everyone has different types of triggers. What you need to do is figure out what yours are. When you do have these moments of clarity, and this can happen at any point in time. Okay, you could be at your job, just kind of going just like zombie. Some of us have jobs that are pretty mundane, and you're just sitting there, and you might have that thought like, man, what am I doing? I deserve better than this. My potential is greater than this. That's a moment of clarity. That's an aha moment. You could be in a conversation with a partner, and just you guys having the same argument over and over, and you're like, wow, why am I still with this person? This is not serving me. It's a moment of clarity. Again, when you're watching porn, it could be you just finished watching a clip, or there's some lag, or there's a pop-up or something, and then you have that moment like, oh man, this is a sign. That's how I would always tell myself, this is a sign. Whenever my phone would act haywire, or the website wouldn't load, I would say it was a sign. And that's how the moment of clarities became more prevalent. They became more powerful, and to the point where the moment of clarity wasn't a moment. It was just, you got clarity. And that's the goal, because that's one of the main things the porn takes away from you. It's your clarity, it's your clearness, it's your ability to think. What we're doing here is you're fighting to take back control of your mind. This is foremost where this particular addiction it attacks your mind. Some addictions we have are spiritual, some addictions we have are physical. Physical one, you could just have an addiction to crack cocaine. That's a physical addiction. Does it affect you mentally? Yes. But is it predominantly one? No, I don't believe no. Porn is predominantly a mental addiction. Okay? Do you engage yourself physically? Yes. Yes, you do. But there are people who chronic masturbators who don't even need porn. People who have sex addictions who don't use porn. So that's why I make that distinction. And looking at all the at this point I've watched hours and hours of hypno videos, all types of genres, sissy, loser, bi confusion. You got foot fetish ones, cuckold, like beta male stuff, and then they have like the reverse ones where it's like reverse. Anyways, I watch a lot of different genres and a lot of different videos with different levels of production. And one of the key things is that they all seem to tap into those 3 ways to affect your subconscious: repetition, symbols, and trauma. So you gotta take back control of your mind first and foremost. You shouldn't always have these thoughts popping into your head, but it conditions you. It conditions you. Through that conditioning, you start to lose sight of who you are, and it's almost like you are driving the vehicle, your avatar, your body, your mind, and you're just kind of like in the back seat, or you're just leaning off to the side, and now you got this person on the side who's maneuvering the wheels for you. And the reason it's such a slippery slope because sometimes you don't want to drive. Sometimes it's easier just to be like, yo, take the wheel, I'm tired, I'm bored, I don't want to do anything. Do the thinking for me. And that's where a lot of this porn stuff comes into play. So I want to give a shout out to people who have been commenting on the channel. And Furnist, I believe that's pronouncing that right. Thank you very much for the advice and the tips that you gave as far as production quality of the videos. And I really took that to heart, and I'm going to go forward in that direction because I started doing this with the idea of likes and stuff aren't important, and they're not in and of themselves, but the more of those that we get, the more that it's shared, the more this message can spread. And at some point I do plan on taking this off of YouTube because it seems like it's kind of going down the drain, and looking at sites like Steemit, DTube, there's a bunch of other ones. But it'd be nice to kind of have a good core so we can migrate, because that's what this is about. I've gone down this path pretty much by myself. I've shared some of my feelings with other people, and I don't think that they really were in the same boat as far as like having pornography addiction. But it can be really easy. It can be a lot easier when you are talking to someone who's going through the same thing that you're going through. And that's what I want to do. That's what this is for. That's why I believe I put the Discord up in one of the channels, and that's what we're trying to do here. So just to wrap things up, I wanted to make this a shorter video. Moments of clarity. You gotta look out for them, okay? And when you do, really take a moment to think about your past behaviors. Where does this road lead down? You already know. It's gonna lead down regret. You feeling like a fraud. And just a cycle of dissatisfaction. Some of the last times that I did end up masturbating and ejaculating pornography, this shit wasn't even satisfying. It wasn't. And that's one of the big telltale signs of you having an addiction, is that the balance between pleasure and pain slowly starts to go down, and you need more and more to see the same level of pleasure, but that pain stays there. So yeah, that's about it for today. Yeah, if you guys have any sort of suggestions or anything of the video, any sort of topics that you want me to go over, I'm down. I kind of went on a hiatus for a little bit. I had to do some stuff in my life, my personal life, But now I'm back at it, and I want to hit it because I got a lot of energy, and yeah, man, it feels great. It feels really good to have that fucking monkey off of my back and to have that little voice that's in my head squelched, and it's still there, it's still there, but uh, it's like a shadow of what it used to be, and you're gonna get to that point too. You just gotta want it. That's the biggest thing. You have to want it, and you have to realize your value. So that's it for me. I'm gonna put some chapstick on because I feel like my lips are super ashy. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later.